Today, every day, small cap investors visit Agoracom knowing this is the day to discover the world's next great company, to have their dreams come true. That's why I take to the open road, to find them, to tell their stories, to engage them, to bring them to life, because they want to connect with you from your office, your phone, your home, anywhere. Agoracom, find your dream.
Welcome to CEO Interviews, a production of Agoracom in which we take the time to speak with small cap executives about their companies. With us today, happy to have him for the first time ever, Rob Edwards. He's CEO of Affinity Metals, trades on the TSX Venture Exchange on the stock symbol AFF. For those of you new to the story, and that's pretty much going to be all of you, because Affinity Metals is just coming out right now. They control the Regal Property. It's an incredible asset in British Columbia, has a history of polymetallic production, and hosts several past-producing small-scale historic mines. A complete feasibility review is already in place for the Regal Silver Mine, including a reserve report, a mine plan, a mill plan. That was all developed in 1971 to put Regal into production at $1.75 per ounce of silver on a reserve of 590,000 tons. They got 71.6 grams per ton of silver, some great lead, zinc, and copper numbers as well. Keep in mind that needs to be updated to current 43101 standards, so you can't be relying on that, but we're going to talk about what the company's going to do about that in a second. Company's got a market cap of less than $5 million, so we're excited to talk to him. Rob, welcome to the show for the first time ever.
Thanks, George. I'm really excited to be here. Appreciate that.
Hey, we're excited to have you because this is a great asset that you've got, and I want to ask you about it. Most companies would love to have these numbers after having spent considerable money on drilling and exploration. You've got it coming right out of the gate. How advanced is the Regal property?
You know, we're really fortunate, George, to have come in contact with this property and to acquire it in Affinity Metals. It gives a lot of opportunity for investors. It's advanced in that, you know, we've had an opportunity to acquire it from a prospector that we've known for a long time. He actually got it back from a company that wasn't very successful. They had some great technical people, but not very good business people. And so he actually got it back and saw that we were putting together this company and wanted to get us involved. The company itself, or the property itself, has had tons of work done on it. We're excited because those technical guys did some great work on past surveys, geophysical surveys, some sampling, geophysics, like I said, and trenching. You know, they did a ton of work, and now we have the opportunity to go in and take advantage of that past work. And it's really something, George, that we have the opportunity not to have to spend that money and having a property at this stage.
What do you think if you had to spend money today to get up to where it is right now? If you have to start from scratch, you know, I'm assuming what, $3, $4, $5 billion. How much would you have to spend just to get it to where you got it right now?
Yeah, you know, just that survey alone, they flew a lot of the property, and that survey alone is at least $500,000, and all the prospecting and interpretation of those results, that's all cost a lot of money to go forward with. And so I'm guessing it's in excess of at least $2 million. We're excited about that.
Yeah, that's a huge lead. And probably in fairness, I don't know the exact story, but probably in fairness, in the past, people who owned it, you know, mining had gone through a really long, depressed period of time. So I would imagine
we all know that.
Exactly. So I would imagine they had this fantastic asset and just couldn't do anything with it. The market didn't want to hear about mining exploration. Now it does, and it's fallen into the lap of Affinity. So that's good luck for everybody here today watching this. Let me ask you a question. If it was feasible in 1975, this is what blew me away, at $1.75 per ounce of silver. Any reason to believe it won't be feasible today, where the price of silver is literally 10 times higher at $18 as we speak?
Well, you know, I think you've answered your own question there, George. It definitely, you know, with the price of silver where it's going and the upside potential that market is showing, you know, there's no reason at all we can't see that be feasible going forward. You know, we do have to do a little work, like you said, to bring that back into 43101 compliance standards and confirm what's there. But, you know, again, advanced property, advanced situation where we do know what's there and we can just prove it up and expand it. It's open in all directions. So, you know, feasibility isn't a question from our perspective at this point.
Yeah, and that's exciting, you got to admit. And you guys announced drilling on September 20th, a pretty significant drill program. What's going to be the goal of that drilling? I don't know if it's going to be one goal or multi, but is it going to be to, confirm and prove up bring it up to 43-101 standards? Are you going to try and expand the resource? What are you guys going to try and accomplish there?
Yeah, it's a big property, George. Like it's just under 6,000 hectares, and there's, you can't hardly walk across that property without seeing the mineralization in every place that you go. We know that there's zones down in the southern end of the property. It's a mineralized trend. It's in the Kootenay Arc, and there's been past producing mines all through that. You got the JNL on the north side, Alco, Regal, Snowflake. Those are all old past producing mines, and so the mineralization that's there is spectacular. The most important thing that we're going to try and do is, number one, deal with the targets that those geophysical surveys have outlined. We think there's some good correlations that we want to follow up on, and of course, like you said, we know we've got that past reserve there. It's a credible report that shows up in, and so we expect to find everything that they've reported on and to expand it further. So there's a multiple targets that we want to go after, and it really is like trying to get focused to make sure that we find the most economical one to start with and move the property along as we can without getting too distracted. So
yeah, it's almost too much of a good thing, but that's a great problem to have.
That's a great problem to have, absolutely.
Do you try and interconnect all these properties into one concept of mineralization, or do you just try and look at individual deposits there? What's the game plan?
There's really two areas that we're focused on, George, and that is one in the north side. There's the JNL mine, and it's just outside of our property boundaries. And the target that we want to deal with up on the north end of the property is on trend with that. We've seen some gold correlation there, gold kickers in the results that we're happy with. Silver, of course, this is a silver play in a lot of respects. And then we have the targets down on the southern end where there's been the past producing mines. And down there, we're seeing, the silver is a high content there. I mean, up to 70 grams per ton there in the reserve. And, we're seeing lots of zinc, we're seeing lots of copper, and even some tin and tungsten kickers in those results. And so there's really two main areas and two kind of areas of geology that we want to follow up on. But again, there's so much mineralization on that property. There's got to be some major feeder systems underneath that we're looking for as well.
Do you focus on the southern properties first and try and get Regal up to 43-101 standard? I'm just thinking out loud, because that's the one that's got the reserves and the mine plan, everything in place right now.
Sure. It is one of our focus areas, but while we're doing that, we do want to look at some of these other targets because they could be potentially huge, George, bigger than even the reserves that are there. There's some big resistivity targets on the ZTEM surveys that have been done, and some other correlations with the groundwork. And so we just can't leave those alone for now. We want to test them and really find out what this property is all about, and we're excited to do that.
So are you testing those in this initial set of drilling of the drill program you announced?
Yes, there's a couple drill pads that we're going after there on a couple of those targets just to test and correlate and see what we've got.
What's the ETA for that, Rob? I'm not sure what weather's like in British Columbia right now, or in the part of British Columbia that you're in, and what it looks like for the rest of the year. But what does the ETA look like for you guys? Because I don't know if you're going really deep, or if you're staying closer to surface. What does the ETA look like for ballpark the first set of results to come back? I know you can't give a precise date, but just to give at home an idea.
Yeah, we've been on the property there for a couple weeks, and the weather hasn't been real helpful. But we're okay. The forecast looks great, and we're going to finish that program. We're going to go until we can. We've just raised money, and we've got the budget to be able to keep going. We will raise a little bit more money going forward to keep that going if we see the results that we need to. And then, of course, we're going to try and get a couple holes in on that reserve just to test it out and to correlate with the report that we've already got. So within the next month or so here, we'll see weather set in, and we won't want to be up there and risking and spending too much money. So
safe to assume that you'll have some drill results for the market in the next couple of months.
Yeah, absolutely. Our focus isn't to cut the core and get it into the lab at this point because of our time frame as far as the weather goes. we want to get the work done on the property, and then we'll work on getting those assays getting the core into the labs to get the assays back. And so yeah, your time frame is probably pretty close there as far as, you know, a couple months. Yeah.
How long do you think it'll take to get that feasibility review on the Regal silver mine up to 423-101 standards? What are you guys ballparking that at?
Well, you know, that's a little unknown at this point, George, just because of, you know, the open in all directions concept. You know, I mean,
which is good news.
Yeah, which is great. A great problem to have. You know, there is some reserves already stated there. Again, non-43101 compliant. So our goal will be to bring those up to standard and to do some testing, you know, further away from that that actual reserve, so that we know how big this might be. And so, you know, we're probably, you know, looking at a couple exploration seasons to, you know, get a feel for that, and then we'll see where it goes from there.
Last thing, you know, especially in the small cap space and especially in small cap exploration, it's the, you know, it's the management team you bet on a lot. You've already addressed financing, so we have an idea about that. You've raised adequate funds. Looks like you can be able to raise more a little bit later. Yeah. Talk to me about management structure. This management team, what do they have that should give people confidence that they can actually move, you know, move this project forward?
Yeah, you know, George, this is, you know, you can have a great property in any company, but, you know, to combine the opportunity with a great property and a well-structured company, along with some experienced management, I think that's what everybody's looking for in this industry. You know, we've been in the industry for, you know, well over 15 years. Myself, I've been the CFO for American Creek Resources, and you've had them on your show
right.
From time to time, and there's, you know, we're seeing a lot of success in that company. We've been through a bear market that, you know, some of the old timers in the industry have said it's the worst one they've ever seen. Mm-hmm. And yet we've been able to get through it, and we've been able to be successful in it. And, you know, based on the structure of this company and the management and the experience and background, the contacts that we've got through being in the industry for as long as we have, you know, we own and control with ourselves, insiders and close associates. We own over 85% of the stock. We control that. And so, you know, to see that upside available in the stock, and to know that there's guys that understand, you know, the market, number one, the exploration market, the timelines that are associated, they're not in for the quick flip. You know, we really do have a good shareholder base that's primed this company going forward. You know, one other concept I think that's really important is that, you know, even though this is a really old company, it's been listed on the TSX for a long time, since 1978 actually. We took it over 2 years ago, and we've kind of waited for that metals market to go forward and to show some strength and be the real deal as far as, you know, coming out of its slump. And we think it's there now. So we've just started marketing this company. You know, we've just signed up with you, George, and got things moving in the last few weeks. And we've just put our website up. It's still a work in progress. You know, we've really just started marketing this in the last few weeks. And so, you know, the potential that's there with the, you know, return for investors, along with this excellent property, I think it's unprecedented. I think it's going to be the next premier metals explorer in the industry. We're excited about it.
And I got to give your management team credit, because I know them obviously from American Creek side. You know, they were able to hold on to Treaty Creek and its projects through the darkest, blackest period of in my lifetime. And you're saying the old timer says it was the worst in their lifetime. So it was complete, you know, Death Valley. They were able to hold on to it, maintain it, because they knew what they had. And now we see what's happened with American Creek. There's some pretty amazing things going on there. So that's the confidence that I had in, you know, in bringing you guys on. That if you got a management team that can make through the worst possible time and deliver value, then you got to go with that team. Structure too. You're talking about 85%. What is your outstanding share amount right now? And tell us about how tight that.
Sure. Right now we've got 31 million shares outstanding. So, you know, we've been very careful to consider dilution as we go forward. We want this company to again be held with tight hands and go forward with that. You know, Darren Blaney, who's also the CEO of American Creek, he's our CFO, and we work together well as a team, and we want to continue to move this company along. You know, whenever you go through these things, George, you learn things along the way, and I think with this company we can, you know, move forward and avoid some of the, you know, the little things that you do differently the time before, you know. And so I think this is a reset of that, and we've got a great property and opportunity for investors to go forward in a big way.
Well, Rob, congratulations on what you guys are able to do. Putting this all together, taking over Affinity Metals, and now coming out with this drill program, because it sounds like you guys have something spectacular. Time is going to tell exactly how much, but you're way ahead of the game already with this feasibility plan that's already in place.
Yeah,
And,
we're looking forward to it.
Yeah, looking forward to seeing how you build upon that. But thanks for joining us today, and look forward to having you back on the show.
George, thanks. Really appreciate it. Good to see you again.
You've been watching Rob Edwards. He's CEO of Affinity Metals. The company trades on the TSX Venture Exchange on the stock symbol AFF. Due diligence is now up to you. You've watched Rob. You've heard Rob, what he's had to say. So many great things here. Most importantly, the actual project itself is fantastic. Great management team, tight capital structure. It's got all the elements in place, and now the company's moving ahead in this bullish environment for a junior mining company. So do your due diligence. Get to Agoracom, punch the company's name or stock symbol to get up to speed on all the details, because we cover the big pictures here. Then slowly get over the Affinity Metals website. It sounds like it's not quite there yet. That's how fresh this is. So keep going back, because you're going to get more information as time goes on. And watch for Rob back on the show next time. Thanks for joining us, everyone. Have a fantastic day. See you soon.